While everybody else was out there calling Elden Ring the game of the year, my favorite game of 2022 was a small, full-motion video job simulator named Not for Broadcast. This was a satirical take on the news that put me in the broadcast booth controlling what people saw and heard. I loved it, and was incredibly excited when TinyBuild announced a series of downloadable expansion packs featuring different themed shows. The first one is finally here, and it's a spooky broadcast where you have to solve a decades-old mystery, all while trying to survive the haunted studio. Yeah, that's an intriguing premise, but can this DLC episode live up to the hype? Find out now when I review Not for Broadcast Live and Spooky. Seeing as this is an expansion and you need the full game to play it, I'm just going to assume that you've either played it already or at the very least know what Not for Broadcast is. However, in case you haven't heard of it, here's how it works. You sit in a control room at a TV station and command the feed by switching between 4 different camera angles and censoring things that are objectionable. You'll occasionally run into technical issues and some other obstacles, but most of the game revolves around switching between cameras and bleeping profanity. The setup for Live and Spooky is immediately appealing. You're there to control the broadcast of one of those cheesy ghost hunting shows hosted by Wayne to Spirit Whistle and a heavy amount of eyeliner. He's revealing the mystery of the Bannon soundstage, a part of the studio that has long been rumored to be haunted. You see, it was on this very stage where several tragedies befell Graham Bannon and the cast of the 1956 movie Dying is Another Man's Job. To help tell the tale of the haunted soundstage, Wayne is joined by Graham Bannon's only son, Patrick, a reporter and broadcaster who's more than a little hesitant to have his family's secrets dredged up on national television. As I'm sure you've already guessed by now, this whole haunted studio thing is a lark. In fact, it's so staged that we're given buttons in order to trigger a few staged moments to scare the cast. Of course, in true horror fashion, the longer the show goes on, you'll start to realize that there might actually be something to these haunted studio stories. Unexplained things are happening to the equipment. You can hear mysterious voices in your head, and members of the cast are literally disappearing. Yeah, something spooky is definitely afoot. What surprised me about this DLC is that there's actually a metagame going on where you're trying to find the 3 burned movie reels to reveal the truth. This is an episode that's designed to be played multiple times, with the player trying out different combinations and paths in order to answer the mystery of the Bannon soundstage. I was impressed by how much different footage they filmed in order to give us different experiences with each playthrough. And while a little predictable, the mystery is a lot of fun to solve and leads to an extremely satisfying ending. Now, my frustration with this game is that a lot of the control booth stuff takes a backseat to the choose and pass and unraveling the mystery. There were a lot of times where our video feed options are really limited to just 1 or 2 good options. And there's very little that you'll end up needing to censor in this thing. We are given a new boo meter, which we're told not to fiddle with. Of course, the haunted studio keeps messing with it, so you have to adjust the knobs and buttons back to the default setting. This edition is fun at first, but it wears out its welcome pretty quickly. Honestly, I was a little disappointed that we weren't more in control of the TV elements of the show. That said, the production values continue to impress. Live and Spooky is poking fun at a lot of old British supernatural shows, complete with cheesy effects and cheap sets and hammy overacting. Everybody is having a great time embracing the inherent campiness, and yet they end up bringing the goods when the story inevitably takes a turn into more serious horror. This is one of those games where I didn't mind having to see the same footage multiple times because Wayne to Spirit Whistle and the rest of the cast are just so much fun to watch. Look, as an expansion, Live and Spooky lives up to expectations. It gives us a smaller show and completely switches up the genres, giving us a completely new and unique experience. If nothing else, it shows the promise of these DLC episodes. And yes, we even get a preview of the next installment. If you've already beaten Not for Broadcast and you're looking for something that's scary fun, then Live and Spooky is definitely worth the extra cash. Live and Spooky is the first of 3 proposed not-for-broadcast expansion episodes, and it delivers on the promise. With a cool premise and an engaging mystery, you're going to want to go through the game multiple times to find all the clues. Unfortunately, the control booth gameplay takes a backseat to the full motion video, but this is a strong start to the DLC. If all the expansions are as good as Live and Spooky, then bring on the next episode! Hey, thanks for watching our review. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite DLC? It can be a rock band song, or a new Mario Kart track, maybe more Witcher story, or even horse armor. Let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm back! Took a week off there because, oh boy, I was incredibly busy with freelance work and updating the Defunct Games website with nearly 2 years worth of content. Yeah, we're gonna talk more about the Defunct Games website soon, but first, we have some reviews to get to and a full episode about Doom on the PlayStation Plus. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.